5 things I've learned selling real estate on YouTube that can apply to anyone trying to make content and turn it into a business. I'll give you the quick rundown and then explain these in this video. First, you can make a lot of money from a pretty small following. Views don't matter when they don't translate to money. People do research on social media and they will make big purchasing decisions based off what they find. You never know who's watching you, in good ways and bad. And lastly, when you make content, there will be outcomes you cannot predict that you never expected from the beginning. Hey, my name is Jacob. Welcome back to the Content Split. This is a channel where I talk about lots of things content marketing and how to build a business with content. I would have never called myself a content creator. I still struggle with it today. It just doesn't sound like me, but I guess I run YouTube channels and websites for a living, so I guess that's kind of my job. My job is content. I've done all sorts of stuff with SEO, building up a team, hiring editors, the whole shebang. Most of what I've done to make money off YouTube has been through lead generation, primarily in real estate and mortgage. But in this video, I want to talk about 5 things I've learned that can apply to anyone trying to make content, and specifically how to build a business with your content online. So number 1, you can make a lot of money with a pretty small following if you're smart about how you monetize it. My top channel made $100,000 in its first year and it had 4,000 subscribers. I didn't have millions of views. I didn't have huge sponsorships. I had 4,000 subscribers and a smart way of monetizing. Now, if you're only using YouTube to make money from AdSense or sponsorships, you're gonna usually need a big following to do that. And that's why you see a bunch of creators with hundreds of thousands, millions of subscribers who make 6 figures off YouTube. But I think it's way more doable and way easier for a lot of people to make a 6-figure income with a couple thousand subscribers. I did a video a week. I was selling a service. Basically, that was my content. I built up a content library. I still do it to this day. And that was how I made money. That channel to this day has brought in about $320,000 of revenue, and it's got 7,500 subscribers. But I started with 0. It's just more doable than setting your goal for 1 million subscribers, 100,000 subscribers. I think AdSense is one of the weakest ways to make money from your audience. If you have a better way to make value and get value from your audience, I think there are so many more ways to sell a service or a product or monetize your channel in some way where you can make a healthy income without having to worry about AdSense or sponsorships. The second thing, it is easy to not care about views when views don't translate to money. A bunch of marketers say focus on the process, focus on the actions, not the results, right? Don't worry about your views, focus on the content, focus on being consistent. Well, I think that's a lot easier said than done when your income comes from views on social media. But if you're able to monetize in a way where your income can grow and compound without necessarily having to get exponentially more views, that's a game changer. I mean, I've been there on that emotional roller coaster of worrying about every single video, obsessing over if it performed better or worse than the video before it. But suddenly it becomes way easier to just not give a fuck when your views don't translate to more money. Now, that's why I said with AdSense and sponsorships, it can be tough because in that case, your income is directly tied to views. But if you can kind of separate how much money you make from the views you're getting, it is freedom. It gives you so much more freedom to just not give a shit and do whatever you want when you know you can still make money at the end of the day. Your audience compounds, your views might not, but just the library of content you have grows over time, and so can your income, even if your views are pretty steady. So you might be wondering, okay, Jacob, if you're not doing AdSense, you're not doing sponsorships, what are you doing? You sell a product, you sell a service, you build some kind of consultancy or some kind of business, some other way of making money from your content that is not directly tied to the number of views you get. To be honest, I've deleted some of my top performing videos because they got a lot of views, but they weren't the best at getting leads. They weren't the best at bringing in revenue. So I deleted them and my views went down, but my income did not. And that's a powerful thing if you can get there. But like I said, easier said than done. The third thing is that people make big purchasing decisions based off social media. People will spend a lot of money based off who they follow, who they trust, who they like online. Could be YouTube, could be TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you're doing, B2B, B2C, doesn't matter. People will decide how they spend money based off content online. I used to hear people say that, big purchasing decisions aren't going to be made online. It's still going to be from relationships, word of mouth, that kind of stuff. Trust me, I've bought a lot of dumb shit off of TikTok ads and Instagram ads. But I can tell you, after $30 million of leads generated from YouTube, people will make big decisions, big life decisions based off of content online. If you're the one making that content, you can open up the floodgates of earning potential. Now, the fourth thing is that you really never know who's watching. You just don't. Until they send a DM or an email or they reach out to me somehow and then I know who watched the videos, most of the time I have no clue who's watching. I mean, it's crazy the number of people I've talked to who have watched my content for months or even years, and I had no clue because they didn't subscribe publicly, they didn't like, they didn't comment, they didn't do anything. Silence. Until they just one day slid into DMs or they sent an email, whatever. And it's like, oh my God, you've been watching my content for how long and didn't say anything? And then they're ready to start the conversation. And sometimes they don't, which is fine. But most of the time, you have no clue who 99% of your viewers are until they tell you. Now, I get it. If you're getting started, that could be kind of scary, just putting stuff out there into the void without any idea who's going to be watching it. But what you'll learn is just that you have a reach, you have the ability to connect to all sorts of people. And it's kind of a one-way street where you don't know who they are, but they know everything about you. They've watched your content, they've followed you along, and never reached out until they're ready to have that conversation. Now, the fifth and final thing is that there are going to be outcomes you cannot predict. When you put content out there, you probably have some expectation of what's going to come from it. You might want views, subscribers, leads, sales, or you might just be wanting some general awareness. But when you put stuff out there, you are going to get opportunities, ideas, conversations, connections that you never would have expected from the beginning. And it's kind of tough to predict where it's going to go when you start putting content out there because just so much of it is up in the air. I mean, when I first started putting content out there, I wanted leads, I wanted to get more revenue for my business. But what I also got that never would have thought was going to happen was connections, business opportunities, companies, and people reaching out to have a different conversation than the one I was having in my videos that can just be a career-changing opportunity. I mean, I've heard from people who have started funds, they've started companies, they've gotten job opportunities from content online that wasn't really the goal from the beginning, but those opportunities will come your way if you're consistent with what you put online. I've gone from being a solo creator in my mom's basement to building a team, hiring editors, starting new channels and new websites from content that I never would have expected in the beginning. So 5 quick things I wanted to share with you. I hope this was helpful. I hope this brought value to you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.